There we are. Hello.
Hello.
We
What's up?
won. Yeah.
Ah,
Good
this
on you,
smart.
Wolves.
I've got a
Look
few
at look
Villa.
at these happy smiling faces from the doom and gloom of the last two ones.
Well,
Happy. Look at the
well, I
smile.
can.
Look at the smile down there. A smile over there. Oh, that's so nice.
Well, even though I know a few Villa fans from work, I can roll into. I can head in. I'm heading into the office again tomorrow. I can certainly show off this smug face.
I
Ah.
know that they'll let you have it.
I'm sure, folks. Well, there's actually another Wolves fan at work, actually, and someone who's also on the forum, who I know. Cleverly enough, I won't state his name, but hello. If you win the office tomorrow, get in. But what say? What an absolutely just. I think the one thing that really showed was just Wolves is what Wolves not just Wolves just Wolves wanting to strike whilst the iron is hot, and then obviously just the perseverance of Nuno's squad. That has surely got to be one of the best traits that he has brought to our club. Of us not giving up, not wanting to give up, really coming through and striking whilst it counts. And as shown with both goals, we most definitely did that. He obviously wanted as well for us to be more clinical. I'm sure he will be absolutely buzzing that we ticked off that task, as both goals were tremendously taken. Pedence with the little swerve and dance, ensuring that Reese had it nowhere to go except off a little bit off his back, flying into the net. And then obviously just Pedro with his pace, and again him just waiting for the perfect moment to then be like, all right, I'm going to smack it. And they just made both of those look so easy. And I think these two could most definitely can fill the void left by Rao whilst he's injured. Obviously, the goal to concede was extremely squirmish and a bit difficult to watch. No doubt Rui will be frustrated that he let that one squirm through his hands. But it was it was
I'll
a
be
fairly.
honest. I was more disappointed there with Bolly's half-hearted attempt at trying to
Indeed,
block
yeah,
it. I
indeed, the
thought
defending
Patricio didn't
was
have he didn't have much time, and to be honest, he was had every right there. I think Patricio to expect Bolly to get in front of that,
absolutely.
and was kind of surprised. He did well to actually block it in the way he did, but
Yeah, indeed. What can really be done when a defence was a bit half-hearted there? But again, I have to also say credit to Otuswari, who came on and made his debut and really did get stuck in the midfield. I think a terrific half an hour from the American. Um, and then um, and then obviously also Fabio again, even though he was brought off for Adama, who was obviously a bit quiet thanks to his rather nasty knock to his foot. I just hope he's okay. He again, Fabio
well,
producing some
on that
brilliant
on that on that
stuff.
foul one, Adama, I have to say, I thought that was very cynical. He did basically kicked his foot from underneath him, and that he knew what he was doing there. He knew what he was doing.
He was lucky
Very
to get
very
away with it.
cynical.
He was lucky to get away. On another day, personally, I think it could have been another card. It could have been a
Mm,
different colour card. Is that the way in which Adama's foot went into the ground?
yeah,
Horrible. It was horrible.
that could have that could really damage. That could
Your
really do some
ligaments.
damage to him. Yeah.
Exactly. But all in all, I think I've managed to calm down in the last 45 minutes or whenever he slammed the winner in. But what a terrific way to bounce back after two. Well, the first defeat being depressing, and then the second one being one we could have taken last week. So, and again, the last two wins be against Chelsea, Arsenal, and now Chelsea, and our excellent record against London sides continues. I think we've played 4 and won 3, or something like that, which is bonkers. But yeah, and I think hopefully that will give us a huge bounce as we then go on towards midway in the season.
Well, that's it. I mean, most of the first half that I saw, obviously, I was watching half of it on a phone after playing football. When it was that slow tempo practice game kind of stuff. And the last half an hour of the second half is what we should be doing all game. The tempo was there. The tempo was upped. Whatever the catalyst was for that, whether it was, getting the equaliser or the not getting the penalty shot, whatever it was, it made a difference. It's just knocking the ball around with more purpose. It doesn't mean gung-ho forward play. It's just move that ball, not do a grass cutter, don't kick it behind him. Good tempo, knock the ball about, zip it about. That gets the whole team running better, and we just look a completely different side once we're doing that. Even just knocking it across the back, if the tempo's there, that's what we missed. That's what we've missed in these last couple of games, is that tempo. And it's well, as everyone saw, last half an hour, there was only really one team. You still have that nagging doubt. Oh God, we're going to concede that one on the break or whatever, because you can't help that. That's just being a Wolves fan. That's just normal. But tempo-wise, that you could only realistically from open play, you thought, well, there's only going to be one person who's really going to score here, because that's how much better we look. We are a much better side playing at tempo. As soon as we slow it down, if we slow it down, we go and sit, we are a pretty poor side. If we up the tempo, move the ball around quickly, and I'm not saying press from the front, but at least do a mid press from anyone who comes into our, we look at an absolutely awesome team. And I really wish we'd go back to that, because we seem to have moved away from it. I don't know why. There's obviously must be some reason for it, but we need to get back to that. That's what we need to be doing it all the time. You don't even. That's the other thing. So go on.
No, I was just going to say that I would think that we would be a top 3 club for sure if we only played against the top 6 for whatever reason, if whether it's rising to the occasion or that the other clubs are just going to sit back more. I think that we just take advantage of these teams that expect to score, and they expect to score a lot, so they're more likely to play when the game is stretched. And that's like, you think about every big goal that we've had since we came up into the Premier League, and it's been in those moments where we're on the counter and there's 3, maybe 4 people that are midfield trying to race back against us, and they're never gonna cope with our speed. But I mean, it was the best 30 minutes of Wolves football I've seen since before the pandemic. I think just in terms of as soon as opponents punched that ball away, that for me, that was when something clicked.
Yeah.
Will that continue though? Because preceding that was 5 hours and 3 minutes of scoreless, goalless Wolves football. So
the longest,
what are we going to see against a more negative team, Burnley, on what is it?
On Monday night. Monday night at 5:30 UK time, which is lunchtime for you guys, I think, isn't it? So you're lucky. That goal drought, I think, was as mentioned by the commentator Guy Mowbray, was our longest goal drought since we returned to the top flight. So obviously it is worrying. You definitely are right.
I loved it though. I'm not gonna be negative. Loved that game. As my text to Bod, my verdict was inject this into my veins. But
and if I could share the picture you sent as well,
I want to see that continue. I want to see that on Monday.
But they talk about wanting more possession-based football. Once we up to that tempo at the end of that game, it wasn't just counter-attack, because for the last 20 minutes, the stats came up. We had 75% possession.
Yep.
It's just having that. It's that tempo that's important. If you just sit and just roll it across the back, it sets a whole mood. You're not gonna, which is why I get so frustrated if we do go up early and we sit back. We lose all that, and then we just look poor. But that's, as soon as you're zipping the ball, and it doesn't mean herring about. It just means passing the ball with purpose to each other.
What I want to go check back when I watch this again. I want to see Atasawi, if I'm saying it right. I want to see I want to focus on him, because when he came on, I wondered, what position is he playing? He's back level with Patricio, and then all of a sudden he's up, charging in the box. And it's been that long since we've seen somebody be a true box to box midfielder there, that I was just I had one eye on other things that I was doing at the time. But I don't know. Did you guys pay closer attention than I did to him? Like, how do you rate his performance?
Yeah, he definitely,
because it changed when he
grew
came
into
on.
the game. He grew into the game as well. I think he was a bit unsure at the start with. Naturally, you know, I didn't expect him to be like world beating straight away. But at the start, he looked a little bit loose with some of the but he grew into the game massively. And right at the end, actually, on that when there was a little bit of pressure in the last like minute or so, and he won the ball. He didn't just lump it out. He took a touch sideways. He passed a lovely ball into Neto, who then had a break, and it was just a lovely, simple and effective. Again, the ball had a nice weight on it. It wasn't scuffed and rolled and stuff like that. It was a nice, decisive pass to the man who then could take Neto, who could then take it up the pitch and actually could have scored and wasn't far off.
Indeed, and I've got to say, I can see why the Facebook groups, and I know the mix now. Someone has managed to dig out the Otterswee thread from, I think, last touched in November, and you can perfectly see why. It's natural that at the start in, say, your Premier League debut, and obviously against the title chasing side in Chelsea, that you're going to be nervous. So it wasn't surprising it took him a couple of minutes to get into it, but obviously he certainly sprung to life when the way he was able to just hold the ball and then gave Mason Mount, sent Mason Mount for 6. The way he's just able to use his strength, run down, I think it was 20-25 yards. It was terrific. And I thought, tell you what, we've got, I think, a very, very nifty little player on our hands. And again, he just then got stuck in during the rest of the game. And I know did a bit of defensive duties as well. And I have to say, again, just like Fabio, Nuno, I think, has brought him in at exactly the right time. And I think he's going to have a very, very big future within our side. And I don't know I forgot how old he is, but I think the United States first team squad, you can see why he was called up last month. I think we've got a very good talent on our books. And I say him and Pulisic in the same US side in a couple of years. Woo-hoo. Credit where credit is due. That will be something special.
The US is gonna be a force here in about we'll say 2026 is when I think it'll happen. But
for the World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and USA.
Qualify for one first.
Mm-hmm. At least you are qualified, yes.
For that one, yeah.
I actually want to give a mention to Silva as well. He got the ball in the back of the net. He was a bit unlucky to stray offside, but he scored that goal. The keeper didn't give up. The keeper still thought he was onside, and he put that away beautifully. So, okay, he got caught offside, but the fact is, he finished that well. He showed that he can finish. That was a good finish.
He was there rushing into the box to score. Yeah. That's what we like chastised him for. But he's found ways to impress without scoring a goal. He's impressed me every time out.
Well, that's it. You'll see as well. What I liked as well is he was pointing where he wanted it. So he was, he was quite confident enough to say, "I want it there," and the ball was supplied there, and he got there. Okay, albeit he was offside, but he's trying to beat an offside trap.
Yeah, it'll be more difficult against sometimes. Burnley when they put 8 in the box, but we'll find some space.
But then you've got like Podence and Neto, who can just.
Yeah, I mean, let's focus on those guys then. Let's do Podence first, because let's have a love-in with each of them. I know we've kind of went over it before, but he is a tiny little person, and he is just out there just bossing. He is like he's got that Jota attitude, honestly. But he's focusing it in the right areas.
He's more. I think he's definitely got better control than Jota had. He might not.
Yeah, I won't bring up Jota ever again on this thing, but I miss him. I do wish him well in his. I
don't think he's got the same direct running as Jota, but what he has got is he's got he seems to have a supreme confidence and calmness on the ball. He's not afraid to just stop with the ball and then have a look round and take a touch and take it round them, which he did with
in the box.
And, in the box. And some of the honestly, when you watch it back, there's a few little moments of skill that he does. There's one that he does when they're coming out. I think it's at the left flank. I was saying to Cash just before, where he rolls it. He kind of rolls it back and then back essentially plays it off the back of his own heel to take it round the guy, and it's a dirty bit of skill. It really is. It really rolls.
I have to say, Podence, I think, is very quietly slipping into folklore here down at Molineux, and you can just see why. As you say, he's just so calm on the ball, doesn't be as rash as Diogo was. Obviously, as well, just say, hope Diogo is all right with his knee and gets back to full speed. The way in which the way he holds up the ball, and obviously his shooting ability, as he showed, yes, it took it scrapped a little bit off to James's back, but the keeper's never going to be able to save that from there. Just the sheer power of that shot, and also the way in which he again holds up the ball, wants to be patient, doesn't fly into a million one and other places where people can't get it. He's what a tremendous buy he is really turning out to be. Obviously, we wanted to wait for him to pop one in the net. But he's been given that freedom and that opportunity to do so, and then some this season. And as well, to turn to Neto. Just sheer quality with that finish. It very, very easily, if there were 30,000 people, if there were 31,500 or nearly 32,000 watching you running forward in that position, you could very easily just see that pressure, and you could very easily have that pressure come onto your shoulders and just wallop it into Rosette.
Oh, no. Not him. There'd have been a sheet of ice behind where he'd been.
Yeah, but he was just so calm with his finish. Exactly knew where he was going to put it. He didn't go rash with it. He saw his target. He saw his spot, and then found it as he knew exactly how to hit the ball. And again, the way in which both the fact as well that both of them scored down the left-hand side, where I think also Marcel was pretty decent tonight, particularly coming forward. And maybe the left side might be the way to go. Who knows when it comes to it.
I wanted just a quick
side
note here.
Good Lord.
Just on the off chance, which is a very big off chance, that Paul Lambert happens to be watching this. Saiss, crap player, is he?
Not tonight. You can see why he's brought back in.
He's an awesome player, and I really like Saiss because he can play in midfield and he can play in defence. He's so rare to let us down. I think he's a very consistent player, and I also like his attitude. He looks like a good chap. I'd like to go for a beer with Saiss. I think obviously probably doesn't drink, but
being from Morocco,
you know what I mean. So it's.
I can see why I can absolutely see why we went with that back three absolutely massive, lanky, just brick style players, basically. Romain, give him credit. He did I think pretty well. Obviously, some did say I was harsh on Max Kilman to be back on the bench. Kilman's still got plenty of time on his side, though. But Romain knows when Saiss knows how to perform, he knows how to perform, and he showed that in abundance tonight. I have to say, he was rather decent at the back.
I've just been told as well that Saiss is a very nice chap. By a friend.
As it's City 1, Albion 1 somehow, as if tonight can get more wild. Wow.
So, good. Saiss is choice.
Yeah.
Is that your hot take? I'll let you lead yourself.
One hot take. Yes, that's one. So Paul Lambert, Yes. Yes. Silly things. You almost got rid of him. Anyway. So yeah, hot takes. Any hot takes from anyone?
I'd say that Matinho is our fourth best midfielder, and I want to see him on the bench. I just I can't I can't justify starting him over Neves.
I thought Neves was awesome tonight.
anymore. So it has to
awesome.
stop. It has to stop. So
He was also
obviously I have nothing but love for him, but for me, Ruben Neves gets the Dave Edwards treatment for the rest of his time at Wolves, and he is the first name on the sheet no matter what.
We maybe we should build a team around Neves, perhaps build a team around Neves and Neto and Podence and
the young
some
guy
of
is
those
not
guys.
the 34-year-old midfielder.
Yeah,
Well,
build a team around there. Build a team around those. I think it's
I'm sure that's what we've done, right? Like I don't want to sound like I'm being too harsh, but I can't. And I've said this like last on what was that Saturday, that solemn game. Like Neves just has to be out there for me. Even when he was taking the free kicks, he was just popping them in. Did we do any cute set pieces? I don't think so. I think we just
Chelsea did when Zuma hit that absolutely monstrous header off. He probably cracked the South Banks bar almost. It was that hell of a hit from Zuma. I don't think there was any particularly good set pieces from us tonight. But again, Ruben, just flinging out his passes when needs be, being aware of where men were. Obviously, one or two of them went astray, but what can you do when we're obviously, again, at some points Chelsea were coming forward and playing well. But again, it's just Ruben's awareness and knowing what he wants to do with the ball. Obviously, he was lining up a shot as well until Kante brilliantly came back, I have to say, and stopped him from launching what probably would have been a thunder cracker.
But this is what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to point out. He was a lot further forward in this game, and that makes a difference. It really does make a difference. I think I was saying about in our last call last week, in that it looks like we've got a defensive unit, an attacking unit, and nothing in between. And the midfielders are the peak of that defensive. That was less, but first half that still looked to be the case. And some of the second half. But once we picked up the tempo and stuff like that, that started to blur, and it was a lot more. Everyone stepped up a little bit further, and we were all a bit further up the pitch, and we started to look like a team moving up and down the pitch, and that it just makes such a difference.
I want to be exhausted watching this team, which was what I felt the last 30 minutes of this one here. It was. Who knows what actually sparked that, whether it was the plan or whether it was a reaction to the not getting the penalty or to Podence' fiery nature. Picking a fight with somebody
I'll be honest. I was going to say about that as well is, why did Podence get the yellow card? He wanted the ball. The guy tried to square up to him.
He went at him.
The guys tried to square up to Podence. Podence wasn't even interested. He was chasing after the ball still. It was like,
and then the referee thought he was. Then the referee thought the referee thought he was the referee thought he was going to try and knock the geezer out. He was wanting the ball back, and he was angry. He was angry, and rightfully so. And in fact, that was probably the only thing in which Matthew Upson. That was exactly. That was probably the only right. That was probably the only positive thing that Matthew Upson as co-commentator on Amazon did right tonight, and that was praise Podence at that particular point. I got to say, he was a dreadful co-commentator. Where do people find these co-commentators? Matthew Upson couldn't pronounce many players' names properly. Didn't know that Old Gold existed. Saying Jimenez's name
get
wrong.
The American stream, because we're doing it right. I'm just sitting there, just letting it wash all over me every game, and they have nothing.
I know the geezer scored one of England's 3 goals at the 2010 World Cup, but for goodness' sake.
I still don't think it was the worst. Sorry. I still think the Liverpool commentary was by far and wide the worst commentary I've ever heard, ever in my life. In fact, I'd have got a better and more balanced commentary from Liverpool TV. It was that poor. So
it was so poor that Cash just got up in disgust and walked away.
So hot takes, yes. So your hot take then, Alex, was that Moutinho possibly the 4th in line midfielder now.
We need those youthful legs in the midfield. And as you mentioned, we need them up. So
I think my hot take is still the tempo thing. It showed yet again that when we play the ball around with we play with some pace, not pace as in running speed, as in we knock the ball around with purpose and stuff like that. We are a completely different team. And if we played like that every game, we would be in the top 4. That would be my hot take.
There's so many you could probably do from tonight, but I'm probably going to say that Daniel Prudence will be our top scorer. And I probably wouldn't bet against it, knowing the way in which, again, when he's good and when he's on form, he is good. I think his price tag is probably going to hit the roof as the season goes on. The composure of the guy, I think, is going to turn him into the player we was all hoping and wanting when we splashed out 15 million, and people were like, why are we splashed out on this small 4'9" person? It doesn't matter about height in football. Sometimes you just got to do the job, and he's doing the job.
Once he gets in front of people, they can't get him out of the way.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, prior to that, he can get knocked off the ball, but once he's in front of that,
I'm sure as well that his strength has been helped with in terms of Wolves' fitness, guys. In terms of him trying whenever he does get on the ball, because I think he's definitely getting stronger on the ball as well when there were men around him. Obviously, him trying to get ahead with 4 men around him is probably going to be virtually impossible. But I've got to say it's just shining this season. In fact, I think also probably a second hot. I'll slightly adjust that and be like, Prudence and Neto will be joint top scorers this season, because I think they are pretty much almost neck and neck so far.
20 goals each. I like it.
I'm going to say 15 each for both.
I'll take it.
That may be really bold and really radical, but if they're able to sustain the way we play, we could hopefully give someone a hiding at some point. That's one thing we haven't really done in the Prem. 1-4-0.
I'm going to go for an unprecedented second hot take, and on the back of the 2 performances of Silva, I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe reach 10 goals, because he's come on a lot. And I know that I said in the couple of games prior to the last 2, I couldn't see what it was, but having that full game has made a difference, and I think he seems
his
to be
third full
very
game
quickly.
Is this number 3 today?
Sort of, because I think he came on really early, didn't he? When Raul got headbutted.
He came on basically as soon as Raul was obviously slammed onto the floor and then taken to hospital.
So 3 of his 4 games are Arsenal, Liverpool, and
Chelsea.
So he'll probably find some room coming up shortly here once we get through this December gauntlet to really make some things happen. But I was iffy when he was just getting 10-minute cameos, but I can see you have to be stupid not to see the player that's in there. So definitely money well spent.
Yeah, I think we still need to get another striker in, because as much as he needs full 90 minutes, it'll be he needs to have runs of 4 or 5 games in 90 minutes, then maybe a break, then another run, because
Ronaldo needs to slow down, because he's driving his price tag even higher. So somehow if it's not high enough already.
Take him under his wing, show him the ropes, what it's all about.
Do you imagine?
I think on the back. Maybe another hot take. I think on the back of this that we will get back into the fight for Europe. I think that's the kind of result which will really just give the players a huge confidence boost. Second season out the last 3 where we've come from 1-0 down against Chelsea at home. Is unprecedented in reality. I think in modern history, and even obviously we had this 2 defeats in between these two wins against Arsenal and Chelsea, but this one particularly, the fact we had to come from behind, we had to just be perseverant. That's exactly what we want. That's exactly what we've been kind of used to.
that pressure up. You have to
exactly.
that drive.
But I think-
that's-
I've just had a thought actually, and this is possibly an unfounded third hot take.
Oh my God.
so hot takes.
It could be that we perform better with more games in a week.
Mm.
Having the longer break between each game doesn't suit us. We've played, we played on, what was it? Forgotten already. Well,
It's our
tried
first
best to forget it.
Saturday, Tuesday in a long time.
Saturday, Tuesday, exactly. Saturday, Tuesday, and then we go over Christmas as well. And there'll be a lot more games closer together. It could be a very productive time because I think it suits us. I really do.
And we got used to it last season. We got
Absolutely.
very
And
used to
every
it last season.
Spoiled.
Every time we have
day.
every time we have a international break, we come back and we take a bit of time to get back into it. Maybe this is good for us.
Mm. Obviously, even though it's a 6-day break between this one and then Burnley next week, but obviously then after Burnley, it's then obviously Man United on the 27th, then Spurs on the 29th. So it's obviously, again, less than 48 hours between those two. But of course, last season we obviously turned around against City on the 27th, and then just lost 1-0 against Liverpool away 2 days later, which still in the context was quite well. Obviously, the defeat at Liverpool was disappointing, knowing that Pedro's goal was ruled out and stuff. But again, those two obviously were really good games, and we looked sharp in both. So it's I think you're onto something. Say 59 games last season is an unbelievable amount for any club side, I think, to try and go
that
for.
Might be too many.
Yes,
that
of
might be a
course.
few too many.
Yeah.
However, when they're a bit more condensed, maybe that suits us better.
Yeah, but last year you
Indeed.
had a 100-day break in there too.
Yes, that's yeah.
No, of course, you're right on that one, which obviously is the most unprecedented thing in modern history with this pandemic.
But we're close, right? We're so close to just getting something a little bit normal.
Yes, which is good, very good again. Obviously, first vaccine, pretty much first efficient vaccine done in the West Midlands last week. Woohoo! Down in Coventry, which is fantastic. And obviously we've got the tier review tomorrow as well. I would suspect, though, by the sounds of it, seems like we're going to stay in tier 3 for another potentially 2 weeks. There is some talk of another review being done next week, which was unexpected, but ministers want to do something just for Christmas. I'm not sure why. No idea how that's specifically going to go, but rates have been dropping though here in the West Mids, and obviously I think again the fans will get I think whenever we are able to have fans in the grounds, we will have such a huge boost. Personally,
I'm taking off whatever day we have since all the games happen when I'm at work for some reason. But I'm going to take that day off when fans are back at Molyneux, so I can just bask.
Yeah,
even
bask in the glory.
Because I live vicariously through you guys and the people that I went to games with Telford Wolves with, and like I would text every game and be like, hey, send me a picture of your seats. How was the crowd? And you guys are getting the full USA Wolf experience. Just feels so far away.
I know, yeah. But that's where, as mentioned, three or four games ago, that's where Wolves could probably expand in terms of focusing by some more football clubs, as it done with Grasshoppers, who, as I say, in fact, I've mentioned that they were flying. They're flying in the 2nd division, Grasshoppers. So it's not the top flight, sadly. I think.
Speaking of Grasshoppers, is Connor Ronan ever going to be a thing, or
Connor's not playing too bad, I don't think. By the sounds of it,
he got his first goal last week.
I think he did.
Or was it one of many goals? I can't remember.
I don't know. But if Wolves could buy, say, a USA club, it would. I think, or Fosu could buy a USA club. I think the way that would then just expand. People obviously know who Wolverhampton Wanderers are. We've got such a worldwide, global spectacle. Imagine if, say, a club in the US came under the same banner. Just imagine the link between both of them. It'd be between, say, a potential franchise of the MLS and then Wolves. It'd be brilliant.
Wolves. There you go.
Hmm.
The Austin Wolves.
Yeah, right. I would I would die. That would be just like having.
I don't know what Boston side would think of that. Do Boston have a side in MLS?
No, Austin, not Boston. Austin.
That's it.
Austin, Texas.
Of course, yes. Boston's in Massachusetts.
Boston has the New England Revolution, but
That's it. Yeah. They've been okay-ish. But who is there in Texas for MLS sides? Out of curiosity.
there's the Dynamo in Houston, and Dallas. Can't even remember the Dallas. I don't watch MLS. Admittedly, I just can't. So if we did get a team, it would be really hard for me to, because like Jack Price is, and I love Jack Price, but he is an all-star in the MLS.
Oh
like,
my!
That's the quality of play. Like it's somewhere between League One, League Two. So you put any MLS team or the MLS All-Star team in the championship league, and they'll lose every time out.
Well, the Atlanta United haven't become too bad of a side. They haven't become too bad of a side.
They were actually, after they won the MLS Cup, they started out just trash and were like last place. I think they turned it around in mid-season, but I'd stopped paying attention by then. I'm a really bad ambassador for American soccer. I had to say soccer, sorry.
That's where Wolves need. That is where Wolves need to come in and be like, if there's an opportunity, we should take it. I'm sure Fosun are probably sniffing around when we'll at some point pounce and begin to build a city football group.
They're looking at expanding more, like 2 or 4 more teams. So they'd have to get going because they got that process takes years.
Yeah, no, it'd be nice though. It'd be nice. I know just transfer gossip. Hulk being rumoured in the week.
Oh, just before transfers. Before transfers, your man of the match.
Ooh.
We don't think we did a man of the match.
We haven't yet. No.
Who's your mom?
I'm going. I am gonna go with Daniel Podence for his all-round play, the quality of his finish, and just being so calm. Yep. Simple. What a player to have on our books.
I too am going with Daniel Podence because of his lovely goal and his all-round play and his dirty little tricks that he does. Fantastic bits of play.
As Tim Spears would say on Twitter, it is absolute filth.
Yeah.
It is sexual football.
Yes.
It is absolutely glorious. I can't imagine the puns if Willy Bolly scored. I wouldn't want to even go there.
Yeah, he almost seems close. Podence definitely is playing some sexy football, but you know me. I'm going with the just that relentless steamrolling Neto, who should have had a second goal right there at the end just for giggles. Like that guy, just streaming down every side. Like he was everywhere tonight. Just steamrolling, like getting the ball into space, working it in. Like that guy. He's the one. He's the one for me. So he's quickly replacing Jordan Graham in my heart. Even though we will get Jordan Graham back in a few years when he's the best player in England. But
we'll have to get Jordan Graham to phone in on this, I think.
Yeah. You can DM him, I guess, on the Twitter and see, because he leaves those open for some reason. I would never do that if I was a footballer. Like, I don't want to hear from people, but
depends what pictures you want sending through.
That's a fair point.
Yes.
Fair point. But for me, Neto, and just the tenacity, like just getting pissed off after not getting that penalty and going right down to the same spot and burying it. Like he wasn't gonna lay that off. Even if it was Raul with nobody around him.
Oh no, he was
taking that.
Even if he had a £5 million bonus hung in front of him, he was only one thing he was going to do, and that was smack it into the straight at the back of the net.
You knew when he was stringing with that ball, like you knew, like that's gonna go in. Like you felt it in that moment, and it was just great. Like
it was, and that's the thing. It wasn't an easy finish either. It really wasn't. It was a really difficult finish, but a great one. So yeah, that's fair play. But we beat you 2-1, so it's Podence.
But it's a 1A to 1B because Podence obviously sparked us as well. So just those two together.
They both played absolutely fantastically.
So I got plenty of balls in my stack to give them each a game ball today. So
That's a
Indeed.
big sack you've got there.
Yeah. It is. I got 11 balls for to dish out today. So
Thank God it's post the watershed. It's 9:07 over here in the UK. Oh dear.
by the way,
Any-
Dong being
eh.
sent off at the 45-minute mark, was that tactical, or was that in relation to his play, or was it just to make a tactical change? Because he just signed a huge deal 2 days
I'm
ago.
not sure. Not sure. I thought. Why did he say it was half an hour? Of course, it was at the full 45, and that artist that Owen was on. I'm going to guess it was tactical. I'm going to guess it was tactical. And then guessing is again a perfect opportunity for Otis Way to come in and pounce and do his thing and say again, just again looking on Facebook, he is being loved a huge amount tonight, and I can see why. I think if he and Neves and Dendoncker in midfield, potentially with Vitinha. People have been moaning and groaning about us having youngsters when they work.
I just said on Saturday to
My God.
Bod that there's no way Nuno's going to put like new guys out there. That's just not what he does. But here we are. So who's
Indeed.
coming out on Monday?
That's
Who's
a very
making their
good
debut
question.
on Monday? Let's find out.
That's a very good question. Anyway, transfers. So we've been linked with Hulk and, in fact, Zinchenko for the third time. The guy who turned us, he turned us down. He turned us down in 18-19, of course, when we trying to get in a left back.
Different club now, though.
Yeah.
Well,
now we're established.
Rumor has it he wants to be played in midfield. Interestingly, he has been played in midfield though, actually. So maybe that could be a interesting option. Although, would I think therefore say the midfield would then be a bit too stacked in terms of who we got already, knowing that Dendoncker and Saiss are both versatile and can play both defensive midfield. Coates could obviously also play the midfield as he's shown in the past as well. But
we'd have to be playing like a 3-7-0.
Yeah, basically, yes. It's
a steamroller formation where they just move forward as a line.
I'd be okay with
Legion. It's like a Roman legion. They just go forward in a line.
Hulk, I think, is a bit too landish. In all honesty,
I thought they shot that down actually too, just based on salary demands and the fact that wasn't there something that he couldn't because of Brexit?
Because of the Australian point style system that's basically coming in, I think, from January the 1st. So they have to tick with the international bits, and maybe I think we've played in and so forth. Or what I'm not sure what the specific is again.
Well, we also linked with Rondon as well.
We have been Solomon Rondon, former Albion striker, who, although on his day at Newcastle, he wasn't bad.
Yeah,
Solomon Rondon.
I can see why we would be linked with him, because he is in that role as the player on his own. I think he's actually quite good like that. Certainly when he was at Newcastle, he was anyway.
We're able to give him space. When he gets space and is able to have the ball, he usually made use of it rather well. As I say, we need. I do think he may be a perfect fill-in striker. Obviously, it will hopefully help take the pressure a little bit off Fabio. Obviously, he was just chucked straight into the deep end. Into the deep end. In
I
the
like
process.
that though. I want him to feel that.
Yeah,
that's how you grow your big boy parts.
I suppose I can get where he comes from, but of course he is still only 20, not 18 or 19, and it's just such huge shoes to fill. So someone who could come in and who has the knack of scoring goals, which Rondon has, then it could be a nifty little move. It could be a nifty little move. And to say if the folks, if say Neto and Podence able to produce a service into the middle, then it could come out. He is one of those very bulky, strengthy players. So if a cross came in right, then he could potentially smack in a header. So it could be an interesting one. Is there anyone else who we've been linked with? Or is it the kind? It feels like it's the start of silly season again with those three all cropping up in the paper.
No, I haven't seen anyone, but then that means nothing.
I'm
hardly finger on the pulse.
One other is apparently this young 17-year-old from somewhere, I don't know where, I forgot his name and whatever. But apparently Wolves are chasing this youngster somewhere from, I think it's Europe, as we do and as we have done. I have no idea his name. He's one of the gossip columns recently. I think he's a midfielder actually. So that might do quite nice. Again, people will be like, "Oh, why are we buying you?" One thing that just cheesed me off, I will say, and this is another hot take: leave the guys to do their transfer business. Let's bring in more youth. Let's bring in more youth because it's proved to work. Obviously, it's taken a little bit of time in some cases, but it's proved to work brilliantly. And as shown tonight, that Pedro Neto is. How old's Pedro Neto? He's like 20, I think. Just such composure to put in a ball at 20 years of old.
Yeah.
Give folks a chance. That's what we might. And again, some people actually still moaning actually in the first off about Fabio Silva. So he's being why is he not being too strong? For God's sake, he was playing against Thiago Silva, one of the most surely respected and admired centre backs in a recent generation. Well, Thiago Silva, I don't think Thiago Silva was too bad tonight, I have to say. But people can't just go absolutely ballistic. So remember, Silva is 18. Fabio's 18. If you expect him to pull out 5 goals and have Thiago Silva in his pocket, I've got news for you. It doesn't work like that. If Thiago's having an off game, is that
legitimately what like a large swath of people are saying? Like nobody
there's some
can
people on
that.
Various Facebook groups who just want people to perform no matter what, and then if they don't, then they just absolutely toast them. It's pathetic. It is pathetic at some of the abuse in which some folks are getting by some fans, and I'm afraid to say that you're not real fans. I'm afraid, just constantly going after folks. Constantly going after folks.
On that subject, how did you think Semedo played?
First half is a bit. I was going to come on to Nelson. First half, he didn't cover himself in too much glory, but I think
made a few runs behind him, and you held your breath every time.
Yeah, a little bit. But I think he came into the game and in the second half and towards the end, within that final half an hour, which I say was frantic. I don't think it was too bad. We've seen worse. Of course, the first half again.
Taken that shot instead of passing it though in the second half, right? That was him.
He could have done. He was very unselfish to try and pass it and pull it back.
It was a very hard volley, very hard volley, especially. But should have tried it.
It could be a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Even the best players are going to have confidence. You know, if he's feeling a bit shaky on his own performances, perhaps his confidence is a little.
Yeah, and as mentioned, Barcelona to Wolverhampton, such a huge change. Such a huge change in environment, in culture.
That's a huge step up. Yeah,
a massive step up. And not everybody. I have to say, not everyone can handle it. You know, coming from a small backwater such as Barcelona into the sprawling metropolis that is Wolverhampton.
Well, that will be Wolverhampton, which is becoming Wolverhampton with £4 billion of investment on the table, and which is happening at the minute, which is fabulous. But it's I don't think it was too bad. He came into the game, did all right. I think some of the passes and where he was able to hold onto the ball was okay. I think again it made perhaps a confidence thing, and again when he has been good, he's been good. He has been good. I think
it's interesting though that even the commentary picked up that they seem to be targeting that side.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
And I mean, in the past, Traore's got the blame for it. I have absolutely no idea why. Bearing in mind he's an attacking player, he's not a defender. But anyway, Traore wasn't there for half of that game, so you can't really say that they were doing it because of Traore, or he had
indeed
Traore, or it's Traore's fault. Because I'm getting sick of hearing it. Everything's Traore's fault. I thought Traore came on and played well, even after being
even after his foot was squibbled with.
He did make a difference to the side as well, and he didn't just blindly cross it either. He put a lovely ball through for. In fact, I think it was a little dink through for Semedo to have that where he could have had a shot. That ball through there, it wasn't like a big. It was a very clever,
Very cute little
nicely
ball.
weighted pass. Yeah, and he's capable of that. Just let him do it.
And they let him play up the middle a lot more too, which I liked. He was just kind of free flowing. We were obviously a lot more creative. I don't know if that was by choice or by Nuno's football manager settings. You know, he clicked over to be more creative. Not everything up the right side, but I can't have any problems with that match today.
Yeah.
But on another point, though, I would, if I were Lampard, I would be like, yes, every time you get into the box, target the guy that just gave up a crushing 93rd minute penalty, because he is not going to challenge you. He's not gonna take the ball from your feet. So yes, absolutely, that's like a given to me.
Oh, by the way, have you seen the picture of when the goal in of Lampard with the saddest looking face that planet Earth has ever seen?
No, I'll have to take. I'm sure
it's
flooding
beautiful.
Twitter, so.
It almost reminded me of Claude Puel and his heart silently breaking when Jota got the 94th minute winner against Leicester in that balmy 4-3. Tell you what, both those though, I have to say, last minute winners, I say, out of body experiences. It's fantastic. Just absolutely, that's what makes football. Makes me love football again. And I say it took me a while to calm down and think, did that just happen? That we just turned around a 1-0 deficit against Chelsea for the second time in 3 seasons? And then so I then absolutely legged it out, screaming, shouting of it, and Mum being like, "Calm down!" But what can you do? It's a glory. It's the glory of it, and it's brilliant. And probably the folks in Low Hill in Wolverhampton, if any of you are listening, by any chance, small chance, my apologies for my screams.
Well,
you weren't yelling at that one.
I'll tell you what. I think on that note,
predictions.
We're going to do predictions. Shit, I almost wound it up with that.
Predictions for Happy Place, Turf Moor, as Jordan from I'm a Celebrity said. As he as a guy, Jordan North on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here from I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here was last month in a Welsh castle instead of down in Australia, and a guy called Jordan North came second. He's a big Burnley fan, and whenever he's doing tasks, he's saying when he's there in Bush took a chance at happy place, Turf Moor. Well, I'm sure Turf Moor probably isn't too much of a happy place for their season. Burnley away is always a tricky one. Banana skin, as obviously has shown in the last couple of seasons. The defeat in 18-19 prior to Wembley or whatever, I think it was a week before. And then obviously last season, absolute sickener, which should never have been a penalty in a million years, as we all discovered. Never. And which cost us Europe, which was, well, hey-ho. But also just to say, Wolfsberger have got Spurs. Wolfsberger from Austria have got Spurs, which is quite nice. Some Wolves, couple of packs of Wolves from Germany and Austria still flying the flags. Burnley is always tricky. It'll be tight. I think way known that Sean Dyche sets up his teams. I think, though, we will hopefully have an outs. And I will say, I won't go with a hiding yet, but I will think I'm going to go for 2-0. I'll go 2-0 Wolves. We'll keep a clean sheet for the first time in a bit of a while, actually. And probably two same score. I'm going to, in fact, say that Fabio will score his first goal. It's one of those kind of Orcas games because very much easy go one way or another. But I think we'll certainly push on, I think, from this, give ourselves good preparation for United and Spurs.
I think if we play with tempo, we'll cruise to a win. If we try and sit back or slow it down, we will struggle and probably lose 1-0 on a set piece or something horrible like that. But with tempo, we will win 3, possibly 4-0.
I guarantee you that Matinho will be in the side. We will slog through a 0-0 draw, best case. it was fun while it lasted, but it's only against the Big Six.
How
It'll see this
conservative
Wolves
do you
team.
have to be? It'd be nice if
You
it,
have to be here for
I know.
every match that we've done one of these calls, and it's been the same thing, except for like
Yeah.
today and
Mm.
2 other games. Like, what is wrong with them? Why can't we take our foot off the brake? Why can't we? So,
Well,
nailed it.
I
You
hopefully
heard it
we'll
here. 8 in the box.
oh God. That would no doubt make the 4-1 go into a meltdown, as it has been a little bit recently, but I hope that's shut everybody up tonight. But actually,
Way it works,
still
right?
haven't scored. Well, the only time we've scored 4 in a Premier League game was Leicester City, believe it or not. I think at Molineux on that very freezing cold Saturday.
if we play with tempo next week.
If we played with tempo and played the way in which we did in that last 30 minutes, or in that second half mainly, and we're able to again take our chances, then whew, good luck. That could end a cricket score. It's a dream.
I've no doubt we play with tempo. We're a real force.
Indeed. And on that
We could
bombshell,
score
We sit back.
3 goals every game. We could do it.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
And I think on that bombshell,
Yes, that really is a good point at which to end. So I will look down now, and I'm not being rude. I'm just looking at the computer to turn this stream off. So good night, everybody.
and we'll see you on Monday.